They say there was once a place, unlike any other on Earth. A vast island kingdom, rising from the depths of the Atlantic like a jewel of the gods. Atlantis. Picture this: shining temples of gold reflecting the morning sun, spiraling towers of crystal harnessing a mysterious energy, streets paved with metals we can't even recreate today. The air shimmered with power, a kind of hum that connected everything. The land, the water, even the people seemed alive with it. The Atlanteans weren't just builders, they were masters of nature. They could command the tides, control the weather, and channel the planet's own heartbeat. Some stories claim they could communicate across great distances, or even speak with the stars themselves. Imagine a civilization so advanced it looked more like science fiction than ancient history. But here's the question: could something that perfect truly last forever? Ancient texts describe the Atlanteans as powerful, but also proud. Over time, they began to forget the balance that gave them strength. They saw themselves not as children of the earth, but as its masters. The energy they once used for creation became a tool for dominance. Wars broke out, not for territory, but for control of the hidden power source that pulsed beneath the island's core. And maybe that was their first mistake. Because when you tamper with forces you don't fully understand, the earth remembers, and it answers back. What if their divine power wasn't divine at all, but something buried deep within the planet itself, something ancient, something unstable? As their towers reached higher into the sky, the ground beneath them began to tremble. Subtle at first, just whispers beneath the waves, but soon the whispers would become screams. And that's where our story truly begins. The rise before the fall. At first, no one wanted to believe it. The tremors beneath the ocean floor, the strange hum that echoed through the crystal towers at night. They called it the voice of the earth. But no one listened to what it was trying to say. Priests spoke of imbalance. Scholars warned that the energy core, the very heart of Atlantis, was becoming unstable. It was drawing too much power from the planet itself, distorting the natural rhythm of the tides. Yet the ruling council dismissed every warning. Progress, they said, could not be stopped, even if the cost was unseen. But some could feel it. Farmers noticed crops withering overnight. Fishermen spoke of dead zones in the sea where nothing dared to swim. And above all, the skies began to change. Strange lights appeared on the horizon, dancing like fire in the clouds. Was it a celestial phenomenon, or something far more dangerous? Imagine living there, a world so powerful, so advanced that it believed it could never fall. Would you have questioned anything? Or would you have looked away, trusting the brilliance of your leaders, while the world around you quietly began to unravel? There were those who tried to escape, scientists, mystics, entire families who felt the end coming. Some sailed away, taking fragments of Atlantean knowledge with them. Legends say they became the seed of future civilizations: Egypt, Sumer, even the Mayans. Their symbols, their architecture, echoes of something far older. And then came the silence. The birds stopped flying. The tides grew restless. The earth beneath the island began to hum, not with energy, but with warning. A vibration that could be felt in the bones of every living being. Some say the Atlanteans tried to stabilize the core, to rechannel the energy they had unleashed. But it was too late. The power they worshipped was no longer under their control. It was waking up. The question is, were they punished by the gods, or destroyed by their own creation? The truth may be somewhere in between, because what happened next would erase Atlantis from the face of the earth. And then it happened, not with a whisper, but with a roar that shook the heavens. The skies over Atlantis turned crimson. Lightning tore through the clouds like cracks in reality itself. The ocean, once calm and endless, began to rise, not as waves but as walls of water, climbing higher and higher with each trembling breath of the earth. Beneath the city, the ground split open. Rivers of molten fire erupted from the depths, consuming everything in their path. Towers of gold collapsed like sand, bridges shattered. The great temples that once touched the sky now sank beneath it. People fled to the shores, praying to gods who no longer answered. Some clung to the hope that their machines, their crystals, their sacred technology could save them. But the light that once powered Atlantis now burned with fury. Wild, uncontrollable, alive. It was as if the earth had decided to reclaim what was hers all along, and then came the final blow. A deafening sound, like the heartbeat of the world, echoed from beneath the ocean floor. The island began to sink. Slowly at first, then all at once. The capital vanished in a spiral of fire and water. Entire mountains crumbled into the sea. The horizon was swallowed by a storm so vast it blocked out the sun. Witnesses, if any survived, would have seen their world dissolve in minutes. Families torn apart, skies falling, the ocean turning red with dust and flame. And yet, in that chaos, some say a few ships escaped, carrying not only survivors, but the last remnants of Atlantean knowledge. They sailed into the darkness, guided by stars that no longer shone the same way. And when the storm finally cleared, there was nothing, no island, no towers, no light, just an endless sea, silent and still, as if Atlantis had never existed at all. But the ocean remembers, always. When the waters finally calmed, the world was different. The sea that once gave life to Atlantis had become its grave. And yet, something about that silence felt wrong, too heavy, too alive. Centuries passed, and the story of Atlantis became a myth. A bedtime legend told to children, a warning disguised as fantasy. But what if it wasn't just a story? What if, deep beneath the waves, the ruins still breathe? Explorers through the ages have claimed to see impossible things. Stone steps spiraling into darkness. Perfectly cut walls lying miles below the ocean floor. Shapes that look too deliberate, too engineered, to be nature's work. In the Bahamas, divers speak of the Bimini Road, a line of massive blocks leading nowhere. Off the coast of Japan, the Yonaguni Monument, carved terraces and stairways swallowed by the sea. Are these coincidences, or the scattered bones of a forgotten empire? Some scientists say no. They call them natural formations, tricks of erosion. But others aren't so sure. Because instruments still pick up magnetic anomalies, strange energy fields pulsing in places where nothing should exist. And then there are the maps, ancient maps, drawn long before man supposedly knew the shape of the continents. Some show land where today there is only ocean, lands that align eerily close to where Plato once described Atlantis. Could it be that the legend was never meant as a myth, but as a memory? A whisper from a time when humanity reached too far and paid the price for it. Look at the ocean now. Vast, endless, unfathomable. We've explored more of outer space than the world beneath our own seas. So how can we be certain what truly lies there? Maybe the Atlanteans never vanished. Maybe their cities still glow in the dark, far below, sustained by the same energy that destroyed them. Waiting, watching, for the day the surface world repeats their mistakes, because the ocean never forgets. It remembers everything we choose to bury, and perhaps, beneath its silence, Atlantis still calls our name. And so, the legend of Atlantis fades, not into ending, but into echo. Maybe it was just a myth, a cautionary tale about power, pride, and the limits of human ambition. Or maybe it was history. A memory buried beneath miles of water, waiting for the right moment, or the right mindem to rediscover it. Think about it. Every year, we uncover ruins older than we ever imagined, temples that rewrite our timelines, artifacts that don't fit into any known civilization. So how much of history have we really lost? Could entire epochs have existed before our recorded past, erased by flood, by fire, by silence? And if Atlantis truly fell because of its own arrogance, what does that say about us? We, who drill into the Earth's crust, we, who split the atom, we who seek to control the forces of nature, just as they once did. Are we repeating their story, step by step, without even realizing it? Some say the Atlanteans tried to warn us, that fragments of their knowledge were passed down, hidden in symbols, sacred geometry, and myths that span the globe. The pyramids, Stonehenge, the ancient maps that show lands long forgotten. Could they all be pieces of the same puzzle? Perhaps Atlantida never truly died. Perhaps it simply changed form, scattered across the earth, whispering through the ruins we cannot explain. And maybe, just maybe, the ocean hasn't finished telling its story, because every legend starts with a truth. And if even a fragment of Atlantida still lies hidden beneath the waves, then what else is waiting to be found? What other secrets sleep beneath the silence of the deep?